put together the safety briefing. So what I thought I'd do is try to keep this close to an hour. First and foremost, to keep you interested in topics, doesn't get boring. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about ground operations, then turn it over to Jay, launch and landing. Then I'll talk about FARs, hopefully not too far into it, so we'll still be awake. And then Bill is going to talk about paperwork before and after flights. We have Don Connor here from Air Traffic Control to talk about some issues that involve us as far as air traffic goes on Roanoke. Peter's going to talk about maintenance, and then John's going to finish it all off with the accident response. So we'll see how this goes. So ground operations, keep everybody hooked on this. We want to make sure that we use golf carts only on the runway. That's only in rare exceptions should we have vehicles in the runway. That's the condition of the runway. Ropes should be at least half a wingspan in length. Walking speed max for towing. Drivers should stand between traffic and a wing walker. Situational awareness on towing is just as important in the ground operations as it is in the cockpit. So keep an eye on the air traffic that's coming in towards you, behind you, other ground traffic as well. And think, what I said there is think during ground handling when aircraft are in motion. So it really depends on the situation as to whether or not you need to stop towing, wait for an airplane to land, or you're far enough away that it's safe to continue towing. Staging aircraft, we have 3 zones. Please interrupt me if any of this looks like threw it together based on 20 some odd years of membership. Things change. So what I said is about 80 feet of the west side of the runway is used for ground towing operations. The middle 120 feet is for glider staging and takeoffs, departures, and then the last 100 feet on the east side is for power traffic departure, landing, and glider landing area. So in terms of staging, of course, be intelligent about this. Don't put your airplane in front of other aircraft that are staged to go if you're not ready to take off. We are not Blue Ridge Social Society. It's Blue Ridge Soaring Society. So we want to keep the operations moving as smoothly as possible at the flight line. If you haven't conducted a pre-flight, make sure that happens before you are in a position where you might impede somebody else's launch. Are you ready to launch in a few minutes? That's really the time that you want to have the airplane ready to go. When you put the airplane in the staging area, make sure that if the wind comes up, the wings aren't going to interfere with another aircraft. So if one wing is down and the other one is up over another wing, that's not a good thing. There should be no interference in the contact, even if it's not already down on one side. The east side wing is down at the staging area. If the glider is left unattended, that's to get a little more clearance for rope dragging the tow plane as it comes in for landing. As you can see, we can pilot a lot of airplanes in that staging area. So if it's done intelligently, it can be very efficient. Standard soaring signals, okay. One here I've never used is this one. Has anybody used this? No, okay. Well, be familiar with these. The number 1 there, check controls, having somebody come around the airplane to give you a positive control check. I think Jay's going to talk a little bit more about that. Open and close and release, of course. Take up slack, we all know that. Pilot ready with level wings. Fortescue Hopkins always used to do this, so I would accept that. Means of getting ready to work. Begin to take off. It's all the way around. Now, Jay may address this, and I've been in a number of glider clubs, and the rules change from time to time, but in terms of taking up slack, do we want the wings level during that period? Is that an indication that everything is clear, that their tow plane can start taking up slack? So if wings go level, then we take up slack.
Yes.
Okay. Tow plane, waggles rudder, glider waggles rudder, everybody's ready to go. Stop engine release tow line, that's another signal I rarely use. And stop operation emergency force, I've never had to use that. So be familiar with these. All right, touchdown. Roll off the active runway as quickly as practical. And no limitations to the aircraft, so obviously know where your brakes are. I was in a Russia AC-4 up in New York. I got checked out to solo it. I got in and I landed. I didn't know where the brakes were. I looked down on the cockpit floor and I realized it was on the pedal. So it's important to know where the brakes are before you take over. Ground loop potential. The L-23 is a little ground loop. Okay? So you got to kind of tease it around the corner. Be always cognizant of the fact that it can swap in, and the glass chips will certainly do that. And push the glide over the west side if you're not all the way over. Ground towing operations, we're, again, please jump in if any of this is incorrect or correct. Compliment me, it's correct. Seatbelt around the stick on the L-23s, is that what we're doing? Okay. The elevator is it's not counterbalanced, so it's bouncing significantly in the penalty or stop. So it's a maintenance issue, I think, to keep that from wearing itself out. Unattended aircraft canopies should be closed. Know how to open and close the canopy, minimize canopy damage. It's very important not to open a canopy with the air vent full. Okay, that's a sure way to crack the canopy. So there are tabs inside the canopy frame that should be used to open and close the canopy. And if you're not familiar with this, please talk to somebody. I have to. They're all different. The L-33, the 23, and the Pt.1 all have different mechanisms for opening and closing the canopies. There's a proper way to do it. There's an improper way to do it.
Kevin?
Yep.
Actually, when towing the glider, so ground handling, canopies should not be just closed. It should be locked. So they don't bounce on the frame and do some damage, especially on fiberglass ships. You can see a lot of chipped gel coat around canopy frames.
Some frictional wear. Good. So the K-21 special. Wind considerations. Will the glider move in a gust and damage another aircraft? So again, it's a matter of having situational awareness, knowing that if a gust comes up in the airplane position, it's going to be the cause of an accident. Okay, well, I just went through that really fast. I'm going to turn this over to Jay now to talk a little bit more about launch and landing.
Okay. Once we are in glider, ready to go, we need to start thinking about what can go wrong on tow. What types of things can go wrong? Where are they going to occur? If they occur, what's plan B? What are the alternatives? We also need to think about how we're going to communicate primarily